Hey, it's Chris, Liege Games. So I can't believe I have to do this, but special crowdfunding opening rant, ramble, and rave here, both a positive and a negative. We're going to start with a negative here because I can't believe I have to say this right. Controversies apparently come in waves. If it wasn't the issue with Quackalope and ITU, it was also then the apology. And then we had AEG and the Twitter thing, you know, sprinkling of misogyny in there. Okay. Full disclaimer here at the beginning. I don't even know, it's not even a friggin' disclaimer. Misogyny, no. Racism, no. Prejudice against any type of people, no. If you do, you can see yourself out. Right? Okay. Now, again, slight difference there in those two cases. One, an actual apology. The other one, nah. Jury's out on whether or not it was an actual apology or more just blaming people for misconstruing or feeling like they were whatever, right? Whatever. I can make a whole nother video about that, but that's not why you're here. This is the positive though. One of these big campaigns, and this video today is going to be a little bit of split, right? It's going to be a split both updates and the new stuff, because the new stuff is a little bit all over the place. There's less this week, so I want to dedicate more time to the other. One of these campaigns, huge kudos, right? You've heard me criticize campaigns when they're not doing things that I think they should be doing on crowdfunding, right? The first one here, though, I have to get major kudos because it's almost enticing me to support it because I want to see more of it. And this is the thing you have to do. Support with your wallets, right? Show your support that way. Otherwise, we end up with plushies, stickers, foils, and other things on crowdfunding because, you know, can't FOMO, Glass Cannon Unplugged. Glass Cannon Unplugged. I give them a lot of kudos. You go, Chris, why? You're just giving more hype to Apex Legends. No. Why? They have restructured their whole campaign based on feedback they have gotten so far. And this isn't one of those superficial, oh, we listened to feedback, we changed one or two things, right? No, this is changing the whole pledge level system for what they were doing because they heard people, not going to presume it was myself, but more commenters in the comment section, although I'd like to take credit for it a little bit because that was my main criticism in the last video that I did, right? 4 characters in a core box for $100 shipped? No, thank you. Now, 6 plus potentially one more, 7 in a core box for about 90? Okay. And you can now actually choose a little bit more. And so I give them a lot of kudos for doing that. Is it going to show monetarily wise? I don't know if it really has yet. But support with your wallet if you want to see more of this. Support the ones that do it. Don't support the ones that are giving you colored pencils on crowdfunding. You know who I'm talking about, right? If you've listened to me at all. And yeah, I'm passionate about this. Yeah, this is going to get me a little riled up because I want to support people on crowdfunding. But to be frank, I don't need to support people on crowdfunding. I enjoy it, but I can also show my support at the retail for sometimes a third of the cost. So, you know, it deserved a shout out here at the beginning of the video. That being said, let's do this. What's new? The biggest one this week, the last spell from Tabula Games. $200,000 right now. Sort of a tower defense type mechanism scheme that they've got going on here. By the time you view this video, the early bird's out, so you're going to have to pay the extra if you want. This is tower defense basically on a grid-based system where a mist is slowly surrounding you in a scenario-based system. Now, the difference with this is the scenarios are carryover that you can, you know, keep your equipment, keep your heroes, keep your upgrades. And what you're going to be doing here is each scenario has a combination of 3 days and nights. And so you have to make it through 3 days and nights of the monster spawning, you attacking, you backing them off, you monster spawning, you attacking, backing them off. And each time you complete a day-night cycle, you get to level up. And that's a little bit interesting thing, is it's not necessarily a level you need a certain amount of experience to do. It's just you level up. And you get certain amount of skills, and you can only have certain amount of certain level skills, right? Like you can only have one level 4, one level 3, but you can have all the level 2s and 1s, but you have to have a certain number of certain ones underneath, right? Like if you want this specific level 3, you got to have the right level 2s underneath it. And that's what you're getting. Now, the issue I kind of have is that it's gone to the $100+ pledge level as the main pledge level here. You know, you're asking for $115, almost $120 for a pledge level that includes expansion. So you can't even not get the expansion with this. And that's cost inflation. And as I said in the Should You Back video earlier this week, right? Expansions are where the bigger profit margin is. And so now you're having an expansion just thrown in. So it's kind of okay. Tactical tower defense, I mean, it's kind of move, do an area attack, move, do an area attack, crowd mitigation. They're spawning from all four sides. It gradually encroaches in on you as the scenario progresses. And that's the basic overview of the game. The expansion gives you a little bit more in terms of the monsters, but this is heavy miniature driven. And I'll make the argument that I worry about this sort of like Cthulhu Death May Die, that these miniatures and these squares start to get a little crowded and there's a lot going on the board. You know, is it going to be as good from that standpoint? And the other issue is here that this Apocalypse Pledge that I've got pulled up right now comes with like 3 more expansions. And it also comes with like 3 more modes or mechanisms right here. The new wounds, whatever the new set of rules and components is for the elite monsters and bone piles. And then these 2 oversized miniature rule sets as well that the rule book doesn't actually touch on the campaign page. And so that's a lot of extra money to be spending, although it's not as much as it could be necessarily, but it's still a lot. They just give you a little bit of overview here as well. So take that for what you will, but it's a lot of money, folks. It's a lot of money for a tower defense game, miniature base, but that's what you're gonna be paying for. And a couple of the unlocks here, you get like a solo mode and a boss rush mode too. Again, I'm sure maybe the updates have a little bit more information if you want to check those out. And they're going to give you, just more stuff. Are you okay with more stuff? I don't know. There's nothing special mechanically that I've seen in the rule book. And I wonder if some of that is in the expansion stuff. And so I hope that between now and the end of the campaign, you're going to have some more highlights of that. Because otherwise I'm not seeing it as, okay, where is this going to be significantly different than other things in my, collection, apart from the fact that we just don't have a lot of tower defense games in the first place. And that's fine. We don't have a lot of tower defense games, but do you need one if you don't have one? And, if I'm being honest with you, I love the idea of a tower defense game. I love the actual thought of it, but I'm not sure I need one in my collection, right? So it's going to be interesting to see where this one goes. I mean, $200,000 with this is already a success, in my opinion, but we'll see how much further it actually goes from that standpoint. Next up, the other big winner of the week for me, or the big surprise pick that I actually said last week, as a side note, right? Like 2 of the 3 games that I highlighted in the upcoming video from last weekend didn't even launch this week because I was off on dates. Yeah, talk about accuracy, Liege of Games. Duh, you dork. This is Ruse, Instincts of the Den. This is a very interesting combination of worker placement, dice management with asymmetric objectives, as well as just cool looking fox meeples. Like, these are the meeples that Fox Experiment from Pandasaurus should have had in the first place, right? And this gives me more of vibes of like a Wayfarers of the South Tigris with the dice placement rather than a Fox Experiment. Now, this is going to be a little bit interesting because we're going to see what else they've got. This pledge level is really deluxeified, and most of the stretch goals right now are upgrades or additions to the deluxeified versions of things. There's a few extra tiny little gameplay so far, but I'd say they're probably hitting more of their stretch goals than they expected, even though we're only at like $40,000 at the time of me filming this. Which, again, have you ever heard of this company before I mentioned it? No, you haven't. So $40,000, great start already within just 2 days. So the rule book is up here on the actual page, and you can kind of see the other incentive to get the pledge right now is that they're throwing in a mini expansion, which is going to be available to you as well. And it's going to add a set of actions, the main game revealed and presented, so we don't even know a little bit of that. So I kind of wish that was on the page already. But it gives you sort of the rule book here, different phases that you're going to be going through. You're going to be selecting your players and the destiny, basically the dice, and that's going to determine what day phase that the rest of the whole round is played in. So there's going to be different aspects of the round that you're going to have to be dealing with depending on if it's a day phase or a night phase. You have the collection phase where you're getting all your stuff, right? Very basic, very straightforward. Choosing your actions, going to the territories you want, and then calculating the points based on what you've done in the first place. Then they run you through the separate boards down here that you're going to be having to manage through, right? The tiles, the boards, the private objectives, the bonus paths, as well as the big main territory board in the first place. And it's relatively aesthetically pleasing. They talk about the actions that you're actually going to be able to do in each of these sections. Everything from spending your points, hunting, collecting, moving your fox around, increasing the den and the kit's abilities that as you go along. And so you're going to be gathering your own territory, as well as actually doing ruses, right? As well as having a destiny board that's going to actively influence the game as you go along, depending on which ones are unlocked. Sleeper hit of the week, for sure. It's just whether or not this is for you. Now, the mechanics are there that I mentioned, right? I just am going to have to watch some video because the design elements are all there. Is the sum of the parts greater than the individual parts? And I don't know. And there's only one video. I thought actually, it reminds me, I think I need to email them. We were in email contact, and then we kind of fell out of email contact right before the campaign launched. So there's an oddball chance that I may end up with a copy if they have any floating around, but I'm not sure if they were actually. I think that was the issue when they emailed me back. I think they said they were kind of, again, they're not American either. So sending them over border lines is always an issue. But anyway, wanted to highlight them. Definitely awesome. Check it out. Very aesthetically pleasing as well. Sleeper hit, number 1 of the week. Second sleeper hit of the week, Meridians here. Now, this looks very eerily to Go, right? If you're familiar with Go at all, basically the best abstract game ever created. Now, people are going to yell at me in the comment section about saying it's better than chess. It's better than chess. Chess is more popular. Go is better. But this is Meridians, and it's a takeoff of that in this basically hexagonal-based grid. And so what you've got going on is you've got the black and the white stones, obviously. Basically what happens, though, is if you ever have a piece of your own that is not in direct linear relationship with nothing in between it to another one of your pieces, it's considered dead. If all of your pieces are dead, you lose. And that's the basic gist of things. And it's just kind of cool. Runs you through that right there. And they give you a bunch of options as well. If you just want a portable cloth-based edition with little wooden pieces, great. If you want glass Go stones with a created wooden engraved board, you can get that too. And 2 different sizes as well on either side of the board itself. Awesome, awesome, awesome. You guys know me. If you've watched my channel freaking at all, I love abstracts. So this one looks like the best abstract I've seen on crowdfunding. Asterisk, there's another one coming next week that I actually have a copy of, but this one looks like just fantastic. Just fantastic. I just love the fact too that he's like, okay, if you don't actually want the name of the game on the board here too, we can just take it off. Just let me know. Just shoot me a message. I just love that. I reached out to him on, was it Twitter, Facebook, Facebook. And he was like, hey, thanks for, mentioning me. I got your email previously, but I don't have any copies, it's all handmade and stuff. And I'm like, oh man, don't worry about it. I got your back. So if you're an abstract junkie like I am, and you're not one of these 40 people up here right now, be one of these 50 people by the time this video airs. Because you can see I've got it saved right now, and I'll be backing after this video. Yes. 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 That's why I love talking about this stuff. Because you're not going to find this anywhere else. That's why you come to Liege, baby. Yeah, I went there. Adam Cole, Chris Jericho, Sabu. Anyway, go ahead, Punk. Speaking of Punk, CM Punk, that's a whole nother fiasco. Anyway, that's enough wrestling tangent. I'll save the rest for the end. Go ahead, Punk. This is a hidden movement, 1 versus all style of game. And there's really no details on how it's played. It's miniature based. You have to get 3 hits on the good guys, or you have to complete the objective, and the bad guys just trying to do that, and then the good guy just has to take out the bad guy. That's really all it says. Now the hidden movement style of things is every 4 moves or 4 turns that the bad guy has to name which location he's in, which district, as well as 1 district adjacent. So you're going to have a 2 district area that you're going to know that they're in. And that's just all that's really on the page, though. Deluxeifications, a little stretch goals. There's a few video in terms of the actual gameplay content. You can click over to some of the links here. I just wish there was a little bit more on the page. I mean, it's a fine price, but that also worries me a little bit. If you've got some miniatures in here and you're still selling it for $50, is that price going to be enough? I mean, I don't care about the shipping, but that's a lot lower price than I would have thought for this. And so what else component-wise is going to be, corner cut is my concern. Or is there going to be? Or is that just the best price that I've ever seen on one of these games? We'll see. I mean, again, check it out if you want to know more information on this, but there you go. Thought I'd just summarize this one quickly. Japanese, Zombicide, right? Well, it's popular over in Japan too. 80 grand. Well, 200 people. Okay, maybe it's not that popular. Liege out. By the way, mid-movie Ramble If the best quote you can get about a game is how pretty the board is, maybe that's a warning sign. Anyway, Thunder rolls with the Garage expansion. I don't know how many racing games you need, but this is another in the line of things, and apparently a successful one because it's already funded, and this is the reprint as well as a reprint expansion. And so this is a combination of dice placement and action selection via cards. And basically, the higher priority, the more dice in the set that you have, gets you better actions and better movements as you're moving across this. One of 8 different cars of your so choosing, and you're getting new actions and mechanical mechanisms that are going to go with the Garage expansion in the first place. The problem is, again, this page is, for someone like myself who's not familiar with it, if you're coming across this for the first time, here's all the new stuff, here's stickers, here's a mat, I don't know how to play, what are you doing here, here's the pledge levels, oh, halfway down, we finally get to some of the other stuff, oh, new to the game? Yeah, we'll get there. They kind of give you a little bit more information right here, but even then, you still have to go down considerably further for the actual mechanics. So I wish it had more on the page in terms of that, because you get down here, and again, they're still talking about customizing your car with stickers rather than the actual how does this play, and that's fine, but I wish it was higher up. I wish we had more information on there. They talk about the rolling phase, they talk about the thunder phase, which is where the the name comes from in this sense, and then they talk to you about the 3 priority positions and the number of dice you can see there in the sets that match, and then the thunder phase with the programming cards that you're going to be revealing. But that's it. And again, it seems like a solid race game. It seems like a less luck based race game, and that's what people are looking for in a lot of these race games in the first place. But I've got my random card based heat pedal to the metal, and I'm okay with that. So it's doing good. Thunder Rolls, Garage expansion, check it out. And next up, Asteroid Dice. Yes, Asteroid Dice. They actually emailed me. I forgot to email them back. Just completely passed under my radar. I just completely forgot about it. So mea culpa for these guys. I'm sorry if you're watching this. This is basically, you have squishy dice and you play cards. And if your cards match, then you grab a die and you throw it at each other across the table. It's like throw burrito, except with a squishy die asteroid. And if you win the battle, then you get all the cards in the middle. After a certain number of rounds, if you have the most cards, you win. That's what it is. But it's throwing stuff. It's squishy dice. I mean, the appeal is there. The appeal is there. $27,000 says that I'm right in that sense. So they give you a little bit of how do you actually do it right here, so you don't have to guess, right? And you just have to watch out for some special cards there that, will affect things as well. A little bit of Fireball expansion. Yeah, there you go. Giant foam dice. I mean, can you go wrong? I don't know. Meteor shower. Whew, that's expensive. That's a lot of money for that. I bet people are pledging for this, though. People like it. That's okay. You know what? It's not for me. Might not be for you. But if it sounds cool to you, Throw Burrito is very, very popular. One of the friends in the gaming group that I play with intermittently, his kids love Throw Burrito. It's like one of their favorite things. They take it a bunch of places and play it all the time. So, this definitely has more of a mass market appeal, and I know why. So take it for what it is. There you go. Next up, Queen Games is going back to Escape, baby. Escape, the family box with a little bit of new stuff, a little bit of trap, a little bit of everything else. People are spending, about $100 a piece right now, and 66 of them are, doing it. So family box style of things. One of the Queen Game accounts on Kickstarter. This one has the lesser of the two, I think, right now. But the family box, if you're not familiar with this, is a 10-minute rolling real-time game where you're essentially rolling the dice to match the symbols on the card, match the symbols on the card, reveal a new card. Find the exit tile, everyone gets the exit tile. Roll enough blue dice that match based on the number of gems that you have not removed from the other tiles. Escape and win. Modularity, Queenies, as they've offered previously, and they're going to have some new stuff down here, I believe, with the bundle here. Yeah, the gems, a few new tiles, and a few new traps and quests. So they're offering some of their old stock as well. Old London Bridge is actually one of the ones I've seen recently that's actually been more well received than some of their other ones. So the roll and write here, I have no idea on. I've seen it. I knew it was out there. It was on one of the previous campaigns. And a bunch of old reviews by a lot of people because this is a classic game. This is a classic game, and people who really love the real time have really loved this. Take it for what you will. What's the actual price point of this? I guessed 100 earlier. I didn't actually say there on the page too much. So the Queenie box, it's going to cost you about $60. So people must be getting the higher pledge levels if we're spending about on average 100. So yeah, what's the difference between this one though? Second edition. Oh, Queenie box 11 to 16. So what's this one down here? Oh, this is Old London Bridge, Early Bird. And this is the family box and big box. Oh, That's, I wish there was just one. I wish there was just one. You did one or the other. And apparently this US special, people are really going in with this one. 13 backers on this one as well. So, you know, I don't fault them for putting a lot of their old stock onto these campaigns. And if it works and it gets stuff sold and you don't have to go through regular distribution and worry about all those things, there you go. Escape is a classic, but is it a classic for you that does it stand up? Well, let me know. Now we're going to talk about these two really quickly because this is not my ilk, but it's on crowdfunding. It sort of falls into the tabletop scheme of things. And I just thought you'd like to know because, again, I always get a couple comments in the comment section saying, oh yeah, Chris, I'm really a big fan of those. And the first one is the Medusa report here. Tabletop puzzle adventure game. So it's one of these puzzles, the cold case files, the Sherlocks, that sort of escape room-esque style game, because, well, the one we're talking about in a second is actually more of an escape room game. So this is just one of the puzzle games that you're going to get, and it's like the Can You Catch a Murderer one. So do you want it? Is it really regiftable? So apparently you can play it over again. I don't know. I just have a hard time with that. I can sell my games that I don't play. I don't want to regift the games that I've played, right? Like, I don't know. I'm messing with you. I have no clue about this. This is just not my thing. I don't do these games. My brain doesn't work that way. I appreciate them. I understand why people absolutely love them, but I'd rather watch a whodunit than play a whodunit in this sense. So there you go. Medusa report, all the stretch goals, and you even get a real floppy disk, folks, and a military map. So they're really going blinged out with this one. It's going to cost you about $50. That's number one. Murder on the Moon, right? Escape game. I mean, these are both raising about $30,000 right now. Oxygen Thief, the Detective Society presents. I have no idea. 3 episodes in a box with this one. You know, get about 4 or 5 hours of gameplay. Yeah, take it for what it is. What's the price point on this one, though? Let's see. Early bird offer, about $50. Huh. I swear I didn't look at these beforehand. So $50, $30,000 each here. Okay, take it for what it is. And this one is just a start and go, though. But you need an internet-enabled smart device. And so that's the big difference with this one than the other one. And if you don't like that, well, this one is probably not going to be your ilk, and you should go for the other one. But is it good? No idea. No idea. No idea. Talk to someone else who has done these ones and knows them better than I. It's not I, but I know that you go onto my radar sometimes. So there you go. Last up with the new stuff here is Realms of Enchantment. $10,000 raised. And this one, I'm really drawing a question mark at, right? It looks like your head-to-head competitive mage dueling type game. And it sounds like that too, right? Series of challenges that you're overcoming. You can play it solo, cooperative, or competitive. Okay. You've got your asymmetric things, 1 to 6 players, easy to learn, hard to master, right? Then we've got a digital platform. That's where things kind of give me a little bit of a question. The how to play here is also going to give you a little bit of difference, right? You have a champion. They have attributes. You're going to defeat challenges, and you're going to require critical thinking and sometimes the use of pen and paper, right? Okay. Now we went sideways. Specific abilities and purchasing more cards, purchasing more abilities are going to give you better ways of doing those challenges. And it's going to cost you about $70 US at this point. Bunch of expansions that you can get here as well to go along with it, and it'll be even more. I don't know though. The rule book is way down here, and they run through sort of almost like a print and play version of it that you can go through with 2 of the asymmetric characters, a few of the actual challenges, but this is it, right? So you can see some of the cards, but I don't know. Like, it makes me a little trepidatious with only that much information on the page, because that's literally it. There's nothing else on here. So take that for what you will. It's a lot of money raised, though, for the amount of information on here. So definitely maybe try the print and play if you're seriously interested in this one, because I can see it going either way, especially if there's that much content. How would you feel about it, especially as you deck build? So there you go, Realms of Enchantment. So I almost completely forgot about it. Carson City, the Big Box, launched over in GameFound this week as well. $100,000 for this reprint with all of the expansion content and all new solo mode with a big box edition. So they're actually allowing you just to upgrade for previous existing owners for about $40. That's not too bad, actually. $80 for the upgraded new edition. And then if you want everything with wooden, little, I'm assuming those are like horses and guns, you can get it for about $100. A few add-ons here. Ooh, Carnegie Deluxe. I remember before the campaign, I forgot to mention this last week, that they were offering this in the Pledge Manager as an additional add-on. So the real question is, can you get just that? I bet you can. I bet you totally can get that. Some promos, some extra deluxifications here. But what is this? What is new here? The solo mode is new. Carson City, originally from 2009. I had to go all the way down here in this page to get to the rulebook, and the rulebook isn't even clickable. So basically what this game is you have 4 rounds that you're going to be building, buying, upgrading, managing resources, and, you know, Euro style, paying money to do what you need to do. And as an Old West sort of thing, I just don't really, you know, have any interest in Old West themed games. Like, right, like the Zombicide one that was Old West themed, easily a pass. Western Legends, haven't even looked at it, right? It's just not my vibe. I don't, you know, have a huge interest in that style of things. But this game is from 2009, and there's a serious interest in this. Otherwise, you wouldn't be seeing games like this in Raw. If they weren't good and they were getting reprints, you would not see them fund to this level. And the fact that it can get 6 digits worth of funding, you know, in a couple days is relatively significant in terms of that. So if you want this one as a modern classic, and I agree with this, go for it. Now, I just wonder here, if you go down to these add-ons and you see how many people are actually getting Carnegie, the deluxeified version of this, you know, how many people are actually doing that? And so that'd be what I'd be most curious about right now. I have the retail version of things, but this was going for like $150 in the secondary market right now. So take that for what you will. The other one, Age of Steam. You're really not going to hear me talk about this one, but got almost $90,000. Deluxe edition, expansion volume 4, 7 new expansion maps, and acrylic tile sets. I don't know. I don't do Steam games. I don't do train games. I don't do 18xx games. My brain, speaking of my brain not working in that way, that's this one, right? You can spend $100 though and get everything new if you want. I have no clue if that's worth it or if it's not worth it, or how new are these or how different are these? Do you need them? They run you through the player counts though, which is really kind of nice. And take that for what you will. But again, I'm going to leave it there before I embarrass myself on a series of games that I know nothing about and I won't be able to do a good explanation on. There you go anyway though. Age of Steam. Yep. Clank Legacy. Here you go. Clank Legacy. It'll be done by the time you watch this video tomorrow if you're watching in the middle of the day. But the thing I have to say is, you know, again, they put out a lot of social media presence. Get this game. It's worth it on crowdfunding. Like, I stand by my judgment of should you back it earlier in the week. No, I'm sorry. Foils, some other non-gameplay-ish stuff, a little deluxeification in terms of a health double-layered player board. I mean, you know, you can take a look if these foils and promos are worth it for you, but, you know, again, a little bit of metal cubes and a digital beta here. I'm sorry. I'm going to wait and I'm going to save my money. Again, I think it's going to be a fantastic game. I think people are going to love it. I'm going to pass on it right now. So take that for what you will, but it's at the end. So everything's revealed, everything's out there, and I stand by the fact that, again, as someone who saved it, I'm going to pass on it from that aspect of things. Aeon Trespass freaking Odyssey. Well, haven't we talked about that enough this week? Actually, you know what? The crux of a lot of the videos was I didn't really talk about the actual game itself. This is a ton of freaking money. This is an absolute massive amount of money, and you have to love this game. It's better than KDM. Stand by that every single time I'll say that in a video. You know, it was my #1 game of 2022. So, you know where I lie. I am biased towards it, regardless. But if it's not right for you, it's not right for you. If you want to get a tester, an aperitif, a sampler, if you will, yeah, go get the Sins of Hercules. Play it solo. And see where you find yourself later, right? Because if it's this good, it'll come around a third time. And so you just get this one right now. Fits in your storage, fits in your closet, fits in your room, and you go from there. Everything is out there if you need to know anything else. Again, it's a massive amount of stuff. It's a massive amount of price. Yeah, I mean, it's just a massive amount of content. This is probably the most content I've ever seen out of a game. Yeah, I'll say that. Maybe Kingdom Death as well. But those are going head to head in that way. And they sort of alluded to in one of the comments or one of the updates that there's going to be a version 3 as well. So, again, do you need all this extra stuff? No, you don't. If you like it, though, if you like it, just like the KDM, it's going to be just right up your ilk. Whole bunch of other stuff. The stretch goals are not going to be the reason you're backing it, though. The stretch goals aren't going to make it or break it for you of this one. You're either going to get it because you're not going to get it elsewhere. You're not going to get it on the secondary market for any less, and it's not coming to wide retail distribution whatsoever. So it's going to be more like KDM in that sense. I'll leave it there. Let me know down in the comment section below. Also, I didn't say this at the beginning of the video. If you guys are going to this place, and you guys are one of those commenters on the Kickstarter, the crowdfunding page, or the Board Game Geek page, let them know Liege sent you, you know? That's the sort of thing that actually helps. And, you know, hey, I'm doing a good service, right? Like putting this stuff out there for you guys, but also, you know, quid pro quo. That's my quid pro quo, right? I don't get paid. People maybe mention my name in the comment section. I don't know. Monster Hunter World Iceborne. They're slowly revealing more stuff. And I just don't know with this one. I'd say if you have any interest, you go for this as opposed to going for the secondary market of one of the other Monster Hunter World original ones. Because you're not going to get as much stuff, but it's going to be a much more palatable price point to get in, and you'll still have more than enough stuff overall because of what you're getting with these unlocks as well. And you're getting some of the new stuff, but I'm going to argue again that I think this is a 2.0 version. So with the stretch goals that you're getting here, you're actually getting stretch goals. The first time around, there wasn't stretch goals. There was a lot of this stuff as expansions, which is why the overall pledge level price was a lot higher. But this is what you're getting. You're just getting cool looking miniatures. And now the gameplay is probably going to be a little more simplistic than you may want. That's going to be what you have to decide on. It's going to be more complex than like a School of Death May Die. It's probably not going to be as complex as Primal. So if you're looking for that style of game and you want more complex, well, you're probably better off waiting and buying someone's Primal secondary pledge when that gets delivered at the end of the year. And again, this one's not going to be, unfortunately, until the end of 2024, maybe even 2025. So take that for what you will. There's exclusives, but they sell almost all this stuff in their retail web shop. And so you're just going to pay more. Are you willing to do that? Looks cool. Artwork is fantastic. Miniatures look freaking amazing. Is the gameplay going to hold up enough for you, though? And all of these other new weapon styles that you're going to be getting. That's what you have to ask yourself. And yeah, it's got, you know, what, over $1 million right now? Yeah, almost 1.5. So it's killing it, despite what you may or may not like about it. Dead Cells. We're going Dead Cells. $700,000. This one's growing on me. This one's growing on me. I hate to say it. It's growing on me. The stretch goals, though, have not grown on me. Now you have a total of 6 characters. The base game only had 4, but 2 of the stretch goals are going to be additional hidden characters as well. But the rest of the stretch goals are not terribly impressive so far. So I'm kind of a wait and see another 6.5 days before I decide whether or not I'm going to do it. It's very similar in that sense to Slay the Spire, of not as much incentive and need to get it on here because you're seeing a little bit of one card, one player there. And if the one character is exclusive, I mean, 1 out of 6, that's actually a lot. Not that you need it. Like in a video game, that's not much, but in this style of game, I would worry that it would be a little more. So I don't know. I'm probably going to end up passing on this one as much as I want it, and I'm going to wait for reviews. I can see myself loving this one, but I also have my fears that is it just my interest in the IP and the video game side of things as a whole, and is it going to translate as well as I personally like? That's the big question, and that's the big unknown for me, which is why I'm still on the fence and I have it saved. But this one's probably the one of all of these on the list today, it's going to go down to the wire the most. Ninja Sloths. If you had told me Ninja Sloths was going to end up with well over, $300,000, I would have been shocked. But again, this is one of those unstable unicorns, casting shadows type games that they're doing a lot of these other exclusives, and they're marking everything Kickstarter exclusive expansion wise, and they're really hitting the FOMO hard. And I just am not a huge fan of a lot of the other nothing related to do with the game sort of t-shirt plushy side of things on crowdfunding, because I think those play off of FOMO even more. Is the game going to be that much better than some of those other ones out there? Probably not. It's going to be probably right up the same ilk. If you liked some of those, this one's probably going to be very up your alley. If you didn't like those, nothing about this one is going to change your mind whatsoever at this point. So by the time I finish filming this and editing this, this will be over. Apex Legends, here. It's $500,000. It's got 2 weeks left, right? I'm going to pull up this update because I don't think you guys, believe me when I say this stuff, right? Strict internal policy to approach each campaign with a polished core game. Stable tested. This campaign's no different. Okay, great. But honest, solid, helpful feedback, right? Crystal clear that not all of you consider these dioramas, these little diorama things, deluxifications, were essential. So not only have they given you more characters in the base game, they've gotten rid of some of that fluff if you aren't a fan of it, right? 2 to 6 players, again, €85 for the game pledge. You're getting your people. If you want more, though, again, gameplay level, deluxified level. And they run you down right through this thing. Very succinct, very nice. Compare all the pledges. 1 new exclusive add-on if you want everything, the storage box. 1 new bundle pledge as well. That's 6 of those anyway. But yeah, it's there. So this is the one that I am, my pledge for Guards of Atlantis 2 just went through tonight. And so, that was way too much money for what it was. But I went for it. Again, I love the game. It's not going to go anywhere. I don't need it, but I went for it. And so this is another one that I go, crap. I'm never going to get this played, but crap, do I like the idea of it? Bah! Okay. Anyway, what else we got going on besides this one right now? A couple last updates here. Evolution of the World. Now, when I played this game, and I said this is a family light filler style game with modularity that's necessary, and one of my few ones that I said from this past week that you should back on crowdfunding if you're interested, this is probably going to break $100,000, which, I take as a success. A filler game that's getting $100,000 that's, going to have 2,000 people by the end, probably around that. I consider that a success. Now, if it's not for you, it's not for you. That's okay. It's not going to appeal to everybody. Again, without the modular expansion stuff, I'm not sure it would be as long lasting on my table itself in the first place. I think it needs some of the extra stuff. So if you're going to get it, again, you get it with the modular expansions. Now, last up, Leviathan Wilds. Again, I don't really have a whole lot bad to say about this. This is Shadows of the Colossus, the board game, where you're saving the monsters with the little crystals that are basically causing them to be bad on them. You're getting scenarios, you're getting the Gloomhaven Jaws of the Lion, Spiral Bound Notebook, which is the little monsters in the first place when you fold it out in terms of maps. You're going to have your asymmetric characters that are climbing over them, taking their actions, and then reacting to what the monster is doing, trying to avoid getting hit. It's good price. It's just whether or not it is for you. And it's definitely a different type of cooperative game. I could see this one being a very good solo cooperative game if you're looking for that, playing it like two-handed. And I think they actually have a solo mode as well. So take it for what it is. I mean, I'm going to pass on it right now just because this is a try before I buy style of game for me. But I know why it's doing well. And again, $150,000 for this game when it failed to fund the first time around. It just goes to show you try again, you put out a good product, people will respond. There you go. That's it. That's all the roundup. A little bit of updates there at the end. Way too long in the first place. If you're paying close attention, look, I finished the bottle. You didn't even see me drink it on camera. So, there we go. That's all I got. Tune in this weekend. I'll have some other stuff up. Again, that stuff at the beginning, I felt like I should almost make a whole other video about some of that stuff just because, as I talked about in the video yesterday, should I watchdog this stuff? Should Liege be the watchdog? I don't say that as like an ego thing. I say it as, being a voice of the voiceless, being a voice of other people, like the misogynies, the racisms, the inequalities that we see in this hobby. And, somebody's got to talk about it, because this is not fun stuff to talk about. This is not popular stuff to talk about. This is not fun putting other people on the spot, right? Like this is very uncomfortable to talk about. It's very uncomfortable for me to be one of those people talking about it, because I always feel like I know the least about some of this stuff. And somehow I'm just sitting in front of a camera doing it anyway, which is terrifying at the same time, right? Right? Putting my opinion out there for people. That's not necessarily just purely game related. Whew. Other than that, I'm trying a new style of mini game reviews, multiple games in one. Let me know, what would you be your ideal number of games that you would like to see in one video talked about? Like, if I did mini reviews, would it be 3 games in one, 2 games in one, 4, 5? What's the max threshold of what I would be interested in? But also tune in to maybe 1 or 2 others, depending on what you talked about, Chris. Like, what do you think about that side of things? And then, I just got to get a couple other ones, individual ones out as well. And I'm sure I have other stuff to talk about. I hope you like that crowdfunding one from earlier this week, those fail ones. Again, that's the stuff I like to talk about. That stuff doesn't get talked about enough. There's too much of it going on. I'm not sure if I'm just seeing more of it. I'm more aware of it. I've got more bias because I'm just, recognizing it, or it's being brought up to my attention more, but there it is. So I'm going to play stuff this weekend, actually. I don't know what we're going to play yet, though. No idea yet. A couple guys are coming over, so we're going to see how this goes. I'm going to find something good. I got the new version of Quest for El Dorado here. Got it. Great game. I was really surprised I liked it as much as I did. Castles by the Sea as well from Brotherwise here. Interesting. I might play this one just to test it out a few more times. But, yeah. And this weekend as well, I have 1 copy of the Uprising Curse of the Last Emperor. And I will be putting up just a video and we'll just re-auction it off. So look out for that one as well. That's all I got. Stay classy. Have a great freaking day. I need to sell some games. Trade some games, give some games. I don't know. One of those 3. We'll figure it out. The math trade was not good to me from this past month in May. I think I traded away 1 game and I got a Nintendo Switch game in place of it. And I didn't even get the Nintendo Switch game for me, right? Like, I got it for the kids. The kids aren't going to play it, but I'll give it to them anyway as a present. And someday maybe they'll play it. It's a good one. It's Link's Awakening, the Switch port for the old Link. And you know what I'm saying for the Zelda game. No, I didn't get them Tears of the Kingdom yet. They haven't finished, my oldest son hasn't finished Breath of the Wild. He played it a year ago at our cottage that we go to every year with his cousin's version of it. And, he's like, now I don't know what to do. Well, it's because you forgot. And now you can't just pick it up and play because your body doesn't remember anything about it. So you need to start over. Well, I don't want to start over. Well, you got to start over. Dad, will you do it with me? No, I have other stuff I have to do like this. So yes, one of these days I'll help him start over. I got nothing else. This is why I get myself in trouble on the channel, is because nobody wants to listen to me ramble about family stuff. But this is, like I got called the other week, this is your next door neighbor, like the guy next door, talking games with you. That's me. That's my channel. That's my vibe. And angry man yelling at the clouds again. So that's all I got. Peace out. Like I said before,
There's a reason I say stay classy, because stay classy, folks. Have a great, awesome day. Kids last day of school today, too. So, meanwhile, going to work every day full-time as an adult. Adulting sucks sometimes, doesn't it? You know what I'm talking about. My cat's outside the door right now, and one of our cats, who's a Siamese, she meows really, really loudly whenever she plays with a toy. So you think like she's calling you, like she's upset or something's going on, but she's just out there going meow, meow. And it's because she's playing with a toy, and so you go out there and then she stops playing with it. Weird cat, right?